Have you ever wondered why Libras seem to carry an invisible weight on their shoulders? Why they always seek perfect balance, even when it hurts them deeply? Today I'll reveal the 7 spiritual trials every Libra faces throughout life. These challenges shape their hearts in unique ways and transform them into the most just and compassionate beings of the zodiac. If you stick around until the end, you'll understand why Libras are so special and how these trials make them true masters of harmony. Those who leave now will miss out on valuable information about one of the most misunderstood and admirable signs in existence. What if I told you that every hardship a Libra faces is actually a gift from the universe? That every tear shed in the name of justice brings them closer to their spiritual mission? Prepare to discover the truth behind the Libra heart. First trial. The Libra's first spiritual test is learning to make decisions without hurting anyone. Seems simple, but it's one of the most difficult tasks there is. Libras are born with a heart that feels the pain of others as if it were their own. When faced with a choice between 2 options, they don't just think about themselves. They calculate how many people will suffer with each choice. Imagine a Libra mother who has to decide between accepting a promotion at work or spending more time at home with her children. She can't simply think about what's best for her. She thinks about her husband who will be overwhelmed, her children who will miss her, her colleagues who depend on her, her family who needs the extra money. This ordeal teaches Libras that it's not always possible to please everyone. It's a painful but necessary lesson. When they finally learn to make decisions based on what's truly fair, not just what's popular, they develop a unique wisdom. They become capable of seeing solutions that benefit the greatest number of people possible. Second ordeal. The second challenge is facing their own fear of conflict. Libras are born with a natural aversion to arguments and fights. They prefer to swallow their anger rather than create a tense environment. But the universe places them in situations where conflict is inevitable, where the only way to achieve justice is to weather the storm. A Libra may work for years in a job where they are undervalued, just to avoid the discomfort of a difficult conversation with their boss. They accumulate resentment, swallowing injustices, until the situation becomes unbearable. Then comes the test. Life forces them to choose between their superficial peace and their dignity. When Libras finally find the courage to face necessary conflicts, they discover something surprising. Often, the conflict they so feared brings more peace than the false harmony they maintained. They learn that there are fights that need to happen, difficult conversations that need to be had. And when they become capable of facing these situations with elegance and firmness, they become true peacemakers. Third ordeal. The third spiritual test is learning to say no without feeling guilty. For a Libra, refusing a request for help is almost torture. They feel as if they're betraying their own nature. But the universe teaches them that saying yes to everything means saying no to themselves. The typical Libra has a packed schedule of commitments he's accepted only to avoid disappointing others. He goes to a colleague's birthday party even when he's exhausted, lends money even when he's strapped, stays late at the office even when he should be spending time with his family, all to maintain his image as a kind and helpful person. The test comes when this excessive generosity begins to take its toll. Libras become ill, exhausted, and miss important opportunities by always being available to others. This is when they must learn one of life's hardest lessons. Sometimes being kind to themselves is the most generous way to be kind to others. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any secrets about the signs. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing we've come from such different places. Fourth ordeal. The fourth test is accepting that not all people are naturally good. Libras are born with an unshakable faith in human kindness. They believe that everyone has a pure heart deep down, that all it takes is a little love and understanding to bring out the best in each person. This beautiful belief is also their greatest vulnerability. Life throws people into Libra's path who take advantage of this kindness. Fake friends who only show up when they need something, partners who manipulate their feelings, family members who abuse their generosity. Libras suffer in silence, always making excuses for other people's behavior, always believing that people will change. The test comes when he must accept that some people choose to be bad, that not everyone deserves his infinite compassion. It's one of the bitterest lessons for a Libran heart, but also one of the most liberating. When he learns to protect his energy from toxic people, He can direct all his kindness toward those who truly value and deserve it. Fifth ordeal. The fifth spiritual test is finding one's own identity beyond what others expect of them. Libras have a natural tendency to adapt to their surroundings and the people around them. They change their opinions, their tastes, and even their personality to better fit in with the group. This ability to adapt is a gift, but it can also become a prison. Libras can spend years living a life that isn't truly theirs, being who others want them to be. They might marry someone their family approves of, but whom they don't truly love. They might choose a career that brings status but doesn't bring happiness. The test comes when this artificial life becomes unbearable. When Libra feels like they're losing themselves amidst so many masks. It's a time of profound crisis, but also of great growth. They need to discover who they are when they're not trying to please anyone. They need to find their own opinions, their own dreams, their own voice. Sixth ordeal. The sixth test is learning to forgive without forgetting. The Libran heart is naturally forgiving. They can't hold a grudge for long, always finding a way to justify someone else's behavior and give them a second chance. But this ease with forgiveness sometimes turns into a cycle of suffering. Libras forgive the friend who betrayed them, the partner who hurt them, the family member who disrespected them. But they often forgive, thinking everything will go back to the way it was. They erase past hurts from their memory and are surprised when the person repeats the same mistake. It's as if they're handing a blank slate to someone who's already proven they don't deserve it. The ordeal teaches Libras that forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. They can release resentment from their hearts without letting their guard down. They can wish well for those who hurt them without needing to keep that person close. It's a wisdom that's hard to acquire, but it brings true peace. Seventh ordeal. The seventh and final spiritual test is accepting that perfect justice does not exist in this world. Libras are born with an insatiable thirst for justice. They cannot accept the injustices they see around them. They cannot understand why good people suffer while bad people prosper. This inner revolt consumes much of their energy. Libras can spend years tilting at windmills, trying to fix problems that are bigger than themselves. They can sacrifice themselves for lost causes, and they can become ill from revolting against the injustice of the world. It's a noble battle, but one that can destroy their inner peace. The final ordeal teaches Libra that their mission is not to fix the whole world, but to do their part with love and dedication, that they can fight for justice without carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. When they learn this lesson, they become a true agent of transformation, not because they want to save everyone, but because they have found their unique purpose. Each of these 7 trials shapes a Libra's heart in a unique and special way. They may seem cruel, but they are gifts from the universe. They are lessons that transform an ordinary person into an extraordinary human being. Which of these trials do you think is the most difficult to overcome? Which have you seen a Libra face in your life? If you know a Libra, be patient with them during these trials. They're learning to be the best version of themselves, and that doesn't happen overnight. And if you're a Libra, know that every hardship you face is shaping your heart for something greater. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's your greatest strength.